Hi, everybody. I'm Tala, Senior Director of Business Insights at GitHub, and I'm honored to be here today with you at the Airflow Summit. I wanted to start by thanking the organizers, and we're trying to find them here, for having me. Thank you, Jarek, for having me today and for having this event for our community. Thank you for everything you do. To start with, I wanted to pose a question. What do billions of events per day tell us about the developer behavior? More than you think if you have the right orchestration. When I joined GitHub, I thought I understood developers. I'd been in tech for years. I'd seen the dashboard, read the reports, talked to users. I thought it was as simple as querying some data, analyzing it, and voila, you have your insights. But then I saw GitHub's data. We're talking about billions of events. We're talking about this issue that happens at 3 a.m. in Tokyo, this commit that happens in Sao Paulo, the fork from Berlin, the comment from Bangalore. These developers are building every day and using every functionality in a way that is remarkable. And it's all happening simultaneously across every time zone and every language. It's overwhelming, beautiful, but chaotic. It was like being in a stadium trying to hear a conversation when everybody else is also talking. So that's where Airflow comes in. It didn't just help us process the data, it helps us see the signal through the noise. It lets us orchestrate the questions we really care about. What makes maintainers healthy? How do we go about understanding when we give value to our customers? And how do we make Copilot better? Today, I'm going to walk you through some use cases on how we use Airflow in specifically these situations. And for us, orchestration isn't just a technical necessity. It's truly a business superpower. So for those of you who don't know, GitHub is home to over 150 million developers. We have over 4 million organizations, and annually we see 5 billion contributions to our platform. These developers are collaborating, they're pushing code, they're building software in real time. This generates torrents of data. It's diverse, dynamic, and deeply valuable. You can really see it upon hundreds of dimensions: temporal, behavioral, semantic, geographic. But here's the truth. Data alone isn't insight. It is potential. And orchestration is how we turn that potential into action. So at GitHub, what do? We treat pipelines like we do our product. It is versioned, tested, and observable. Airflow is our conductor. It brings harmony to this chaos. And it transforms raw developer activity into structured intelligence. This fuels the decisions that we make across product, engineering, and of course, our leadership. So this realization hit me super quickly when I first joined. I started doing a simple multidimensional query, and it resulted in millions of rows, and that I could not replicate on a daily basis and took me way much more time than I needed. Airflow to me quickly became this place that I needed to use, this tool that I needed to use to access the data I need daily. And this appreciation that I'm sharing with you at Airflow is not just me, it's across every level of GitHub. For us, GitHub is, for every level of GitHub, and Airflow for us is really an important tool. When I shared, in fact, that I'm doing this speech with a few GitHub colleagues, an engineer lovingly referred to Airflow as it's our lifeline. A product manager shortly after told me, hey, Airflow is sacred. These are not words we hear about all of our tools, so I just wanted to make sure you guys see that. And Airflow is used in many situations. For us, Airflow is a company-wide enabler, not just a data engineering tool. And today I'm going to walk you through 3 specific use cases where Airflow helps us solve very real problems and allows us to see very real things. The first is our open source health metrics. Open source is our heartbeat. We need to know what's happening so we can understand how to best shape our product for our open source. And Airflow helps us do that. I'll walk through that in a little bit. The second is customer success signals, because The success really of our customers is about how we drive impact, and Airflow shows us how we can do that best. And of course, GitHub Copilot. Airflow allows us to understand how to make our product better. So let's dig in. The first is open source. I really want to talk about that because it's really important for all of us here as well as for GitHub. We host over 500 million projects on GitHub. This ecosystem relies on our open source maintainers. In our bones, we know that a healthy maintainer is required and necessary to maintain this healthy ecosystem that we see. And if we have a healthy open source ecosystem, then it's going to be a better outcome for all developers. We are stewards of this, and we don't take that lightly. So we watch carefully to understand how is the maintainer load? How are they growing? What's the community activity like? How are the forks, the clones, the rate of growth? We also look at awareness. Are open source maintainers using the right guidelines in terms of their repos? How's our spam detection going? Are there any trends there that are useful for us to understand and know so we can better support our community? And the financial well-being of our maintainers. We have programs that support maintainers like the GitHub Fund and the Sponsors Program. So understanding how's the community contributing to the community and how we are contributing to them is really important to us as well. So why does Airflow matter in this situation? Well, Airflow gives us daily metrics. This orchestration of daily metrics allows us to see the data and keep it very fresh. The backfills that we have let us redefine history and restate it in a way that's trusted. So if we need to evolve our definition in one way or another, backfills let us do that. And lineage ensures that every KPI is auditable so that we learn from what we've done and build on it. I'd like to paint a picture of what this looks like in practice. It's true. Our developer relations team opens a dashboard daily. And in this dashboard, it shows open source health metrics. What does that really look like? We're talking about key dimensions of what we defined as health. They're looking at it, not just the repos that are top, but emerging ones, communities, maintainers that are being burnt out that have signals that show that. And this report isn't just a report, it's a very much a living view. So as it's updated daily with a constellation of DAGs, we are quickly looking to see signs to respond to. This orchestration, this coordination is what turns billions of actionable events, of events into actionable intelligence. And that actionable intelligence informs planning. So over time, as the developer relations team is looking at this dashboard, they're defining and adjusting their developer relations programming. What communities need more support? Where do we allocate resources to help those communities? How do we localize content so those communities can access them better? What OSS investments in the product and in the community should we be doing? Those are all the insights that come from the orchestration that we hope to get. And this is all orchestrated across multiple DAGs that Airflow does for us. So my key takeaway from this one is healthy maintainers mean a healthy ecosystem. And for us, orchestration keeps that visible so we can continue to see it. Next is our customer success signals. Customer success is the team in GitHub that cares for our customers and makes sure that GitHub's solutions are allowing them to achieve their business outcomes and goals. When customers adopt GitHub, it's not about the seats and licenses, it's about the outcomes we help them achieve. For us, it's really important that we instrument a journey from them, from onboarded, adopted, engaged, and eventually, hopefully, growing. We have a team of customer success analytics dedicated to understanding this process. And we do that through stitching together telemetry from product usage, finance, our CRM, our support, to make sure that we have a singular view that has indicators like adoption, engagement, implementation, success, support health, and revenue signals. They all come together in a singular view. Airflow in this situation allows us to do that in a very specific way. We use Airflow sensors, of course, to detect the data is available. So there's no delay. We're not waiting on a cron schedule. We're just immediately responding as these health scores are coming up. It also alerts us for any anomalies. If there's any sort of data pattern changes, we're able to see it and detect it quickly. Custom operators, of course, give us a uniform interface to connect and be able to look at all these data from external systems in one place. There are no brittle scripts, no delays. And of course, all of this is stitched together through a constellation of DAGs that are curated into a computed score that then drive a response from our customer success team. So, at the customer level, imagine a customer, they just onboarded. What happens then is our DAGs immediately start tracking signals. Those signals are usage signals. Are they using the product? What product? What feature? How deeply? How often? Are they submitting support tickets? What are the tickets about? How quickly are we resolving them? What are the blockers that we need to be identifying? Are they attending our webinars? Are they downloading our resources? Are they contacting our customer success with questions? That comes from our engagement DAGs. Financial DAGs, are they tracking according to their contract milestones? All of this comes together and helps our customer success managers who are tied to these accounts understand where are the issues and how best to respond. And here's the magic. This isn't that they have to wait for a schedule for all these DAGs to come together. It all happens instantaneously. The moment support data lands, the score is updated accordingly. And that score, for example, detects a rising time to resolution in terms of our support tickets. That triggers an alert to our customer success manager who enables quickly a trigger to do a play, an enablement play. Orchestration in this particular case is a feedback loop for us. It allows us to sense, process, and then repeat. So, when signals trigger plays, customers see value faster, and orchestration makes that loop real for us. And I know we've talked about customers, we've talked about OSS, but what about the product itself? And especially one as dynamic as GitHub Copilot. For us, success is not just the adoption, it's the continuous improvement. And this means that real-world usage needs to come back in and inform product design so that we have the next wave of innovation. GitHub Copilot is not static. It is, in fact, a very living product. And with that, we need to make sure that we are connecting the telemetry of its usage to our design decisions and innovation. It needs to be grounded in real developer behavior. And Airflow helps us see that. With Airflow, we study things like engagement signals, frequency, adoption, which feature more than the other. We also have quality indicators. How are we doing in terms of acceptance rates? How are we doing in follow-up edits? And of course, feedback loops. We see thumbs up, thumbs down feedback. We see qualitative feedback as well that we bring in together. This is all, again, stitched together through Airflow. The sensors, again, are the ones that allow us to detect when feedback or usage data is available so that we can quickly understand what's happening and instead of waiting for it all to land. That means the data lands sooner, our product design team sees it sooner and able to start the next wave of innovation sooner. Every DAG for us includes a validation step. We're checking for anomalies, we're missing fields or schema drifts. These metrics this sort of process makes the metrics reliable for our leadership. And the customer operators, again, pull signals from all the various places, from our feedback platforms, our telemetry, of course, our experiment logs, all in one place so that we can look at the signal. And here's why this matters so much for Copilot. AI products live and die by trust. And trust is built through this continuous improvement, showing developers that we're listening, learning, and making the product better is based on their experience is very important. When we rolled out all the agentic experiences and features in Copilot, feedback telemetry became extremely critical for us at GitHub. Airflow orchestrated signals from thumbs up, thumbs down, qualitative metrics or comments and usage patterns in a place where we can look at that sort of trend and insight, but without ever exposing prompts or customer confidential data. These insights guide design priorities like refining task flows, improving context handling for multi-step actions, and we do that because we marry feedback and usage data and turn it into signals for improvement. So, usage plus feedback equals better design. And Airflow makes that loop safe, fast, and reliable. These three examples, open source, customer success, and Copilot, are just a way that we can show how orchestration turns complexity into clarity and drives real outcomes. And if you're wondering about the nuts and bolts of this, how we actually do it at GitHub, my colleague Alexandra over there is going to give a deep dive into that later today. I really recommend you go check it out. You wouldn't want to miss it. Now let me talk about something that doesn't always come up in technical conferences, but probably deeply matters. Return on investment. Because someone somewhere is going to ask you, why do we spend so much money, time, resources, whatever it is, on this orchestration thing? And here's how we answer that at GitHub. The first is time saved. If we go back to the example of our developer relations team, imagine not having orchestration and have someone dedicated to plumbing all those data pieces that I mentioned. We would completely lose time and lose the ability of having that resource do something like analyze said data. So I start with the first thing is time saved. Automation allows us to redirect the resources into analysis, strategic projects, or other design priorities. The second is speed to decision, and this one is extremely important, especially at this time where everything requires speed. Delays risk having us lose either a customer or having us miss a shift in sentiment. With sensors and orchestrated pipelines, health scores, like the ones I mentioned for the customer success side, are updated faster, so we're able to employ and deploy plays faster and quicker. Speed is everything, and this acceleration has real business impact. We see that faster intervention is correlated with higher satisfaction and higher retention rates. So speed. And lastly, the cost of not investing in data. We have two risks here if we don't invest in this situation. We either make decisions on stale data, or we just imagine missing data altogether because we missed a decline somewhere. So things move fast. We know that from point 2. But imagine just not having the ability to invest in automation to make you do this quicker and have better response. So the cost of bad data and slow data is always going to be higher than investing in good orchestration. So if you're building a business case, don't just start with the technology, also go with the risk mitigation that comes with it, the speed of which you can reach those findings, and of course, the operational advantage. And we've done this for a little bit. We've had Airflow for a while. So I wanted to share with you some best practices that we've developed along the way that may be helpful for you as you're thinking about your Airflow journey. The first is start small, scale fast. Find an opportunity where a single DAG can solve a very real pain point. And from then on, slowly begin to develop bring other domains and expand further. And the second is treat DAGs like a product. Having version control, reviews, and testing, this is not optional. This is what makes orchestration reliable and therefore trusted. So having the way to audit it is really important. Invest in observability early. Sensors, alerts, lineage, tracking, all of that saves you hours of debugging. So build trust in your metrics and do that earlier. And I've learned this myself. Backfills are your BFF. They're your best friends. There is no doubt that your definitions will evolve as you know more. So Airflow's ability to restate history and keep KPIs honest allows you to bring that forward and keep your leadership aligned. So when you look at these three stories, open source, customer success, and design, you see the same exact pattern. We orchestrate the questions we care about, and the answers change what we do. Airflow is not just running a job on a schedule. For us, for GitHub, it's how we version our definitions. It's how we backfill our truths and how we ship decisions that we can defend. It lets us move from what happened to what should we do next and repeat that loop reliably. So my invitation for you is simple. If you care about open source, instrument signals that keep your maintainers healthy. If you care about customers, wire your telemetry to plays that deliver value. And if you care about AI experiences, marry usage and feedback so that your designs and your product are better. Because in 2025, orchestration fuels insights. And those insights are how we build strategy. From DAGs to insights, from insights to impact, that's the superpower we share in this room. Thank you.